Well, Matt, my feels are just gone. I'm at the point now where questioning every single pick I make. That moment where you're just like, oh God, am I second guessing myself here, or do I feel good about this really? Like, I have no feels right now. There's absolutely no feels.
That's how I was at the beginning of last year. I was hitting my best bets, but other than that, I was struggling through the gate, and I was like in my own head. I'm like, what am I doing? You reevaluate, you go through the numbers again, you try to fix it. Just keep in mind, Tuck, that it is only we're through week 3, where this is the week 4 podcast.
I'm just looking at the road ahead. I'm like, oh God,
plenty of time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. That's why you won't hear me gloat about my hot start.
You should.
I'm for the second time. We'll get into the recap in a minute, but the second time in 3 weeks, a 4-1 slate, and this one should have been 5-0, and we'll get there.
Should have been. Well, let's just get right to it now. By the way, Better In-Laws podcast. Thanks for joining us, Tucker, Silva, Matt, Prisco here. We are Better In-Laws. We are brother-in-laws.
Get it?
Yeah. So give us our week 3 recap. All I'll say about week 3 is I should have went with my gut last week and made the Broncos +7 my best bet, because that hit pretty early.
I was going to mention that, Tucker, but I didn't want to, you seem a little sensitive right now.
Just get it out of the way. Let's go.
Well,
Let's go.
All right.
I'm sensitive about a lot of things, a lot of people I want to slap across the face in life, but nonetheless, go ahead.
Here we go. Here we go.
Give us the recap.
All right. Little anger for week 4. That's what we need. Maybe that's what we need. More energy, more anger in our picks.
A lot of anger.
Week 3 recap. Let's do it. Tuck.
Yeah.
Best bet. First fall of the year. Had the Chargers +1.5. That ended up being a loss.
Asterisks. Yeah. Asterisks.
I got. How do we say that word?
Asterisk. There you go.
Asterisks. That's a hard one.
Chargers were looking decent. They were looking decent, and then Justin Herbert got hurt.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's like,
that is part of it.
It is part of it.
I didn't realize how hurt he was going into that game, and he gutted it out. But when I made the pick last Wednesday, did not realize how hurt he was. I'll just say that. But nonetheless, the pick loses.
You did text me on, was it Sunday morning? And
Saturday.
Saturday.
I was like, uh-oh.
What's Herbert? I'm like, he's playing.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know, man. It's
that line
kinda,
moved.
Didn't realize it was as iffy at all. But he gutted it out. He tried anyways and failed. So they lost. The Titans -2.5.
Fucking Titans, man. I don't know if I'll bet them again. Honestly, I don't know if I'll ever bet them again. I don't know what the hell is going on with Will Levis, but they must really, really question if they made the right pick there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he just is Mr. Turnover this year.
Yeah, he's struggling out of the gate there. Yeah, that was ugly too. Another one that was over pretty quick. But you did allude to it. The Broncos +7. Great call there. We talked on the show. That was,
That was over quick.
That was over quick. You should have made it your best bet.
I should have.
And you'd feel a little bit better. Even though it was 2 and 3 slate, you'd still feel better if that was your best bet.
Yep. No doubt.
I get it. I've been there. Bears, loss. We went head-to-head on that one.
Should have won.
Yeah, that game was coin flip game into the fourth quarter, and then it just got ugly turnover.
The Bears just kept giving it away.
Yeah.
Just every time. No, you want to win the game? Okay, you win the game.
We don't want to win it. You take it. We don't want to win it. You take it. Anthony Richardson,
every
Caleb
opportunity.
Williams, trading turnovers. I was disgusted
Gross game.
with that win, but I'll take it. Lost for you, though. Ravens -1. Nice hit there. As my best bet, we'll get to that in a second in that recap, but I will say the Ravens...
Little sweat.
Just annoying at the end. This is
sweat.
exactly what we talked about and why they're the worst pass defense in the NFL right now is garbage time comeback, and there's no quarterback that is better in garbage time than Dak Prescott. So did make me a little nervous. They were covering onside kicks, which is impossible to do now, and they still did that.
Kidding.
So that was, I'm like, okay, enough's enough here. Either way, 2 and 3 overall, Tuck. Season record 6 and 9. You're going 2 and 3 every single week, I think. So
it's not good.
Turn it around. Turn it around. The little switch. It's not like you're banging out 0 and 5. So this is what I'm going to tell you. Or 1 and 4. Those are the really hard weeks.
I might
this week's. That's the confidence we don't need.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't have the feels are gone, so there's no other feel than just feeling shitty about it.
Well, maybe that's the way you go. Because last week you said 4-1, 5-0 vibes.
Didn't work out.
Maybe just trying this. I'm going to go 0 and 5 this week and telling the people. All right.
It's very much on the table.
6-9 overall, 2-1 on your best bet still. So keep chugging away there and make the right pick next time.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well, what's your record? Because the show record's good because of you.
Let's talk about that. So Baltimore in my recap was my best bet. We just kind of recapped that. Little sweat, but took care of business there. It was nice to get back in the win column on the best bet. Did not want to fall under 500 there, so 2-1 on that. Other games had Philadelphia +3. My God, talk about a game that was not expected. I expected a little more points in that game, but Philly's D came to play.
What was the total in that? Like 49.5, 47.5? Yeah.
Landed like 15-12, something really ugly. They borderline killed Devonta Smith and didn't throw a flag, so at that point I was
nuts.
furious. And then the next play, Saquon takes it about 70 yards to the house, and then I was happy again. And Philly hung on. What an ending, though. That was exciting. For a 15-12 game, it was a pretty exciting game.
Yep.
I will say, Nick Sirianni, you, my friend, are an absolute moron. Just take 3 points. I know, but like, how many times? They should have won. They should have been up by 9 to 10 points. Kick the field goal, dude. 3 points is okay. You don't have to go for it 4th and 3 every time you're down at the 30.
No, he does because he's a hardo.
Oh, he's an idiot.
And that.
Idiot. Anyways, +3, thank you. We'll take that. Indianapolis -1 was the head-to-head. That was a turnover fest that just ended up working out of my way. Anthony Richardson looks like a negative rookie again. I don't know what's going on with him, but figure it out, pal. Detroit -2.5. Another cash there, taking care of business against Arizona. And then it was Sunday Night Football as I stared a 5-0 week in the face. And I had the Falcons +3.5, who were in it the whole game.
Close.
Good game. And then once again, the NFL officials decide to get involved. And here's what's going to happen.
Oh,
the Chiefs were going to win this game. The Chiefs were going to win the game. I'm going to say that before I even start this little rant. But the fact that in 2024, they did not throw a flag on that pass on 3rd and goal to Kyle Pitts when the defender tackles him, hits him early, tackles him, doesn't turn his head around, and the ball goes flying off the defender's helmet or whatever it did, like a very clear pass interference that would have been 1st and goal on the 1, to which they would have scored on the next 4 downs, you would think. And then Kansas City would have got the ball back, and they weren't going to stop him. They weren't. Mahomes was going to go down in that situation, even though they did stop him and they got the ball back again and still couldn't score because they decided to run sideways on 4th and 1, which is cool. The Chiefs would have won that game because, in that scenario, they go down, they move the ball, they get 1st downs. Mahomes is not losing that game. They kick a field goal, probably 52 yards. Bucker's a hero again, but they win by 2. They don't cover.
Yep.
And that was my 5-0 week. That was not okay.
Hey, you know what? You could be 2-3.
I could, but still, when it's money, and I want money. I like money. I'm greedy, and I don't like losing like that. Don't like losing.
Do you know anybody who doesn't like money? Just curious.
You. 2-3, 2-3, 2. There we go. Still betting every Sunday.
I set myself up for that. Jesus Christ.
4-1 for me overall on the season. 11-4 now on the show here. So 2-1 on best bets. So looking to keep that momentum rolling for me. Though I don't love this card, but we're gonna make it love us.
All right. Why don't you love this card? Just give me a quick synopsis.
Quick synopsis is I lean towards a few more of the favorites this week, which I don't typically like.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
especially with how this year's been playing out for the Dogs.
The Dogs are rolling. You get to a point where the Dogs, I have in the show notes here somewhere. I'll get to it when I get to one of my picks. But anyways, the Dogs are rolling, and to like a little bit of the favorites just makes me a little on edge. At least I'm usually about 50-50. So I thought about it. I've bet 6 or 7 games at this point, but made 5 for the card, my favorite 5, so we'll see. Some are something, so we'll get there.
All right, well, let's get to week 4 here. We will give out our likes, the rest, and wrap it up with our best here on the Week 4 podcast of Better In-Laws. And again, follow us on socials at Better In-Laws. If you haven't done so already, leave us a 5-star review. And any comments you want to post on Spotify podcast, which is a news feature that's actually got potential, I think, in terms of a podcast platform. So, yeah, check it out. Leave us a comment there. All right, so let's touch on Thursday Night Football here. We are recording on Wednesday afternoon at about 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Cowboys and the Giants face off Thursday Night Football. Giants are 6-point home dogs. Point total on this one is 45. Any feels on this one, Matt?
Dallas stinks. They can't stop the run. Real problem. Historically, Dallas just buries the Giants in the spot. Giants coming off a win, but the Giants should be 2-1. They should be 2-1. They didn't bring a kicker to Washington. Whatever the hell happened in pregame.
Now it seems like the point total, or excuse me, the points are moving more in favor of the Cowboys here because I think I checked this morning and the Cowboys were 5-point favorites. I want to say now it's moved to 6 all of a sudden.
Yeah, open 7. Then it went down to 4. Went down to 4.5. And now it's back up to like 6 in most spots, 5.5, 6 in most spots.
Yeah.
I really don't have a feel. I want to play the Giants here, but with getting close to a touchdown against a team that their defense is really not great.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a big spot for Dallas. They need to win this game, and historically they've just pounded the Giants. So I don't know. Right now I really have no feel in this game.
I'll tell you what, if the Cowboys don't win this by some measure, their schedule coming up, tough.
Yeah.
Steelers, Lions, Niners, Falcons, Eagles.
Yeah, and
they need this win desperately.
They need this win, but I'll tell you what, Malik Neighbors has given the Giants some life on offense, huh? Credit to the way they're using him too. Like he looks awesome out there.
That throw from Daniel Jones wasn't anything spectacular, but Neighbors just went up and picked it off.
Yeah.
Right out of the air at the corner of the end zone. Really wasn't a great throw by Jones, but Neighbors is just a stud.
You get a guy like that, you give him a chance. You throw the ball up. He doesn't have to throw a dime every time, right? That's the goal. That's why you draft him 5th overall, 6th overall, whatever it was. And listen, we've talked offline. He was my favorite player coming into this draft. Totally.
Neighbors, yeah.
So I just love the way he plays.
Over Harrison.
I did like him more than Harrison.
Wow. Well, there you go.
I still do.
All right, let's move ahead here to our first like. I will go first because I have no feels. And give me the updated number on this one. I had this morning Jets -7.
Mostly 7.5.
Okay.
Across the board.
Honestly, I'm still fine with 7. Still fine with it.
Yeah.
Jets are on extended rest. This feels like a rout, honestly. Extended rest, like I mentioned. I love the Nathaniel Hackett angle. Again, if you remember last year, the Jets with Zach Wilson went into Denver and beat the shit out of them. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember that. And that was a great revenge spot for Nathaniel Hackett. I don't think that's going away with that, with the way he ended with the Denver Broncos. And now he's got Aaron Rodgers at the helm. And, I mean, that Thursday Night Football game, I know it was against, a bottom 3 worst team in the Patriots, but vintage Aaron Rodgers that night. Man, that was impressive. I'll say that. So this has the feels of a rout to me. I know I was on the Broncos last week, but big win going on the road in Tampa, convincing win. I think they come back down to earth here, and I think that the Jets really just roll here. It's as simple as that. I think they can win by, 10, something like that.
Yeah, I see that. I agree. I think the Jets cover this number.
I don't know what your numbers support there.
My number is actually 7.
Okay.
So I made it 7. That's why it's no play. It's been 7, 7.5. I think my numbers are what I play off of, but I think the Jets are going to win this game by double digits. I really do. I'm in agreement there with you. It's just the Broncos coming off a nice win last week. Pump the brakes.
Yeah.
It's
back-to-back home matchups for the Jets, and they're on extended rest.
And back-to-back road games for Denver as well.
Yeah, everything's just speaking Jets to me on that one. So give me the Jets -7 or 7.5. I'm fine with that too. Yep. Matt, what's your first like here?
All right, my friend. Good game here, actually. We have Minnesota traveling to Green Bay, and the point spread right now is the Packers at 2.5-point favorites, and I am taking the Green Bay Packers very close to my best bet, -2.5 here.
I'm feeling them too.
Absolutely love this game. If I knew Jordan Love was playing in this very moment for certainty, I'd be and was also 100% healthy, this would have been my best bet. So that said, I think he is playing. You can't convince me otherwise right now. And if he was playing, I make this game 4. And if he's unhealthy or going to play like through a tough injury. Probably downgrade him another point here, but if he's getting out there with a knee injury, and I watched some practice stuff with him jogging, he looks good considering what happened to him. An NFL game is a little bit different, so even a downgrade of a point, which is a big deal, it doesn't sound like much, but that is a big deal. Even downgrading at a point, I'm hitting a key number of 3, so I really love this spot here for that. Look, Minnesota's looked great. Sam Darnold's looked very good, but this is a different test. This is their second road game. The first was against the Giants. This is a division game against Green Bay, who has the opportunity to make themselves both 3-1, and Green Bay is going to want to do that, obviously, right? This is their spot to get back in. They don't want to fall 2 games behind this early in the season. Getting their leader back, you got to like that, okay? So Green Bay, number 1 team in the league right now rushing the ball. A lot of that does have to do with Malik Willis. But I think the return of Jordan Love is actually going to open up holes for Jacobs. Well, Jacobs been great, but Willis did run a lot in the 2 games he played. So what Willis will come off the field, they're not going to get that production from Love. So point is, Love gives him a much more of a passing threat, right? Mm-hmm. And that's going to open up holes for Jacobs. So just continue to run the ball. The 49ers game against Minnesota, you saw them run with success. In that game, they had to start throwing a little bit more because they fell behind. But in that game, they were running the ball perfectly fine. Yeah. I expect Green Bay to do the same. What Matt LaFleur's done with that team in Jordan Love's absence is just unbelievable.
He's in the running for Coach of the Year
already. Yeah, absolutely. They just destroyed Tennessee last week. That game wasn't even close. And I don't from a lot of the the numbers, the money, the tickets. People were on the Titans last week. That was not like a Tux by himself laying 2.5 with the Titans here. That was, look, the Packers have to be happy with 1-1 from Malik Willis, and they went out and just destroyed them.
Yeah.
So eye-opening there. I think both defenses are strong here. Minnesota is a top 5 defense, right? No getting around that. The way they're playing, Brian Flores has been putting on a clinic, but
Flores has been really good for that defense.
But at home, they're a different team. When they take the road, I see this defense giving up a little bit more through the air and on the ground. Green Bay averaging 6.4 yards per play right now, second in football. That's the test. Who wins, the defense or the offense for Green Bay? Because that's going to be what this game comes down to. I like Green Bay. Give me the Packers -2.5.
I'm surprised looking at the ratio of how many wagers have been placed on the Vikings covering this number, considering they're playing on Lambeau. I'm seeing 67% are on Vikings to cover on this, +2.5.
Yep, and I can tell you.
I think the Vikings are due to drop one here. I mean, who's the better team?
Green Bay's the better team.
That's
ultimately, too.
It's as simple as that.
It really comes down to that sometimes. Handicapping can be very easy. You're getting under a key number of 3, and you're getting the better team. I think the money's coming in on Minnesota. A couple different reasons. Division game. Division dogs cover at about 60% rate under 3 points on the road. So division underdogs, that is, are covering at about a 60% rate since 2018. So that's one reason. The second thing is, look, we don't know what Jordan Love's going to look like, and I get that. He could be limping around out there by the second quarter, take a couple hits, what happens there? So you're giving a 3-0 team with a very good defense an opportunity to get some points in this situation. I get why Minnesota's money's coming in. I'm just going to tell you that that's wrong, and you should be betting the Packers because they're going to win and cover this game.
I do have a play. My next is related to this game. I'm going in a different direction here because of I'm looking to change up my mojo here.
Okay.
Give me Aaron Jones anytime touchdown +125.
We're going props.
Yeah, I was just curious to see what this number was at, because Aaron Jones, as we all know, longtime Packer. Things didn't end terribly well there with Green Bay, not to say the least. I mean, the fact that he signed with their direct rival and made it a point. I think I remember seeing something in the offseason where he was just like, no, I wanted to sign with Minnesota.
You had to play them twice.
Play the Packers twice. He had that sort of motivation there. He had other offers, but he's like, no, give me Minnesota.
Yeah.
Going back to Lambeau Field, likes to play in front of the fans as much as he maybe not have ended on the best note with the organization. He still likes the fans. I'm sure the fans like him.
Yep.
And the Packers kind of blow against the run. They're ranked 20th against opposing running backs now. Saquon Barkley. I know Saquon Barkley's playing out of his mind right now. He had a game in week 1. Jonathan Taylor had a great game too. And then they didn't really need to defend against the run in week 3 with the Titans because of game script, right? So I think that this is going to be a lower scoring matchup, and I think they're going to make it a point to get Aaron Jones into the end zone at Lambeau Field. I was stunned to see that this was plus money. I thought this was easily going to be minus 125, something like that. So to see plus 125 on the board, give me that. Aaron Jones, anytime touchdown. I'm changing it up the mojo. Give me that for my second like.
Hate it. I think Aaron Jones going for 10 yards and
Fuck
on
you.
12 carries.
I didn't say Green Bay would lose.
I'm kidding.
I would say that he scampers in for probably an
He
early
probably does.
touchdown.
They're going to feed him around the goal line if they get it down there. So
totally.
you can see that happening.
I mean, they are going to get down the field. You know? Like Sam's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson's Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, he's been playing great.
They'll be fine early on. But I do lean in your direction overall for the game, though, with the Packers covering on that one.
Yep.
All right, what is your
Second like.
Second like.
All right,
Numbers.
I'm going to another 1 o'clock game, and it's the Rams going to Chicago.
That's the 49ers fan of you. Fading the Rams after
No,
last week.
it's
That's what this is, folks.
not it.
That's what this is.
I'm going to get to that.
Uh-huh.
I am going to get to that because that was the worst loss in 49 in the Kyle Shanahan era. We'll get to the Niners when we talk about them.
Yeah.
But I will talk. Let's talk about this. I am laying it with the Bears minus 2.5 here. And I gotta say, I do like this spot for Chicago. The Rams had a season-saving win last week. On the verge of going 0-3, they pulled off a miraculous comeback. Kudos to them, right? They went out, they did it. But now they get to come back to Chicago against a team that's also now as desperate as them at 1-2. And some of the things that I did see that I did like from Chicago that I did not see in the first 2 weeks was Caleb Williams made some throws in that game that made you say, okay, that's why he was the number one pick. Like, he had a couple of plays that it was like, all right, I get it. You see it. He could do it at this level. Now it's about being consistent because he was also not very good in some points of that game. So, look, rookie quarterback, that's what you're going to get. But coming home, this is the time that play Chicago. Coming off back-to-back road games, they back at home. Give me the better defense with a short number here. That's what this comes down to. The Rams
is really good.
The Rams they're still banged up. They're still a disaster. That's not getting healthier. Cooper Kupp ruled out again. We know Nakua is out because he's on the IR. So they're still throwing to these backup receivers who really don't, other than Tutu Atwell getting free. That's not happening against the Bears defense.
Yeah, who's the other kid there? Whittington?
Whittington, I don't know, he had 3 catches or something.
Like, okay. Just learned about you last week, bud.
DeMarcus Robinson was almost like not even on the field. Like, he had a couple
Role
catches.
player.
But, like, yeah, he's a better player when Kupp and Nakua are on the field, not when he has to be the lead guy. Right. So, really like this Bears defense. At home is where you want to play Chicago right now. You get the rookie quarterback. You got momentum. You're going to run the ball. He's going to be able to pass in this game. And then from the Rams side, I just don't see their offense being able to do too much. Like, the holes where the 49ers are, you can run the ball in the Niners. Against Chicago, you can run the ball, but, Kyren Williams is the key. They got to stop Kyren Williams first and then make Stafford beat them with the backup receivers. Jalen Johnson, one of the best cornerbacks in the game, he's going to shut down one side of the field. So now you're working with half a field, backup receivers. They can key in on Kyren Williams a little more than the 49ers could have. And to be honest with you, the Bears defense is better defense right now than the 49ers. So I like the Bears here. I like the Bears to outright win this game. And anything under a field goal here, 3 max. It is 3 at some spots. I see 2.5s out there as well. So give me the 2.5 with the Bears before it gets to the 3. I'd play that one quick because I think that closes around 3.
Yeah, I am seeing 3 out there right now.
Yeah,
Are you still comfortable with that?
Yeah, the spots there's plenty of 2.5. So I'm looking across the board. You can see them at South Point, Caesars, Bookmaker, all at 2.5. DraftKings is at 3. FanDuel's 2.5. Minus 110, minus 115. I'd be happily laying 2.5, right. 115, which seems to be the line there. So lay the 115 and get the 2.5 there. That's worth it for the half point.
All right, my third like here, I'm looking at this grossness game. Cleveland taking on the
LV.
Las Vegas Raiders, he meant to say.
Yeah.
Point total on this one is 37. You're hearing headlines, or you're seeing headlines of Gardner Minshew now being questioned as the starting quarterback of the Raiders. I know that I saw like Kay Adams was asking Devontae Adams, about how he feels about Gardner Minshew being the starting quarterback there after just a dreadful, awful loss home versus the Panthers. Oh, man. How many points was that? 30-something?
That's not enough.
I mean,
Red Rocket.
Questions about the defense, questions about the quarterback. It just, morale is low on the Raiders right now.
Coach talking about business decisions. You see that?
Yeah.
Talking about Devontae Adams.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he was talking about Devontae.
He was.
Or okay. What angle with Devontae was there?
Devontae's just miserable on the Raiders.
I thought he was like referring to Jack Jones, who was just like literally hovering next to a Panther.
Jack Jones.
And just like not tackling him. Did you see that video?
Jack Jones, there's something wrong with Jack Jones. But Devontae Adams just pissed off consistently on the bench. He does not want to be in Vegas.
Yeah, he wants to be with the Jets.
He wants to be somewhere else. I don't know, probably the Jets with his buddy Aaron. But my God, man, you can just read it all over his face. And he didn't think there was effort there. So he's probably talking about Jack Jones and Adams, quite honestly. But he definitely was talking about Adams.
Like, they're not going to bounce back from that loss and get hyped up.
I like Vegas this week.
To take on this Cleveland. You do?
I like Vegas this spot.
I mean, I don't know. It's 1.5 for the point total, so I don't know. I guess anything can happen there with this shit Browns team. Well, I don't know if they're shit. I'd say the offense is shit.
Their offensive line is so banged up, and the matchup in this game for Max Crosby and the Raiders' defensive line is just that's going to win them this game. That's why I like them here. I agree with you in what you're taking in your pick here, but the Raiders, man. I mean, did you tell them what you're picking here, or are we just on a Vegas?
Didn't
rant?
I say that?
I don't know.
Oh no, I don't think I did.
You may not have. You may have, and I just missed it.
Under 37 here. I don't think I said that. So that's my third under 37.
Everyone's like,
Browns
what's the pick?
Browns good defense. You mentioned the Browns offensive line woes. I just think that this is we all know what Deshaun Watson's been going through. There is the angle of Amari Cooper playing against his old team, but I just think it's gross quarterback playing against gross quarterback. The running backs do nothing for me. It just seems like it's a low-scoring, defensive, boring, I don't even want to say slug match, just like
great game.
No offense.
Great game.
If I see a point total like this between these two types of like shitty-ish teams, I tend to go under here. And that's what I'm doing. Under 37 here for me.
Yeah, I like it. It's to a point where I start to get nervous playing the under because I think turnovers. And I think about the offensive line, like
if
Watson
they're exchanging turnovers, that's just more clock.
Well, I mean,
burned.
like the pick sixes and then the fumbles, especially with the bad offensive line. That's just what I get nervous about in this case. Yeah. But if you were to tell me you had to pick one, I would pick the under here. I don't see a lot of points being scored in this game either.
Sorry, I'm just finishing my lunch, my smoothie.
Yeah. That was not my official like. I do lean Vegas, I should say. Don't have them actually as a like.
All right, so let's go to your third like, which is a team we're all familiar with, associated with you. What do you got?
All right. New England Patriots traveling out to Santa Clara to play the San Francisco 49ers, and the line is 10.
They ain't covering.
10.
Patriots fan here. They ain't covering. Sorry. Go ahead.
I am in agreement with you. I'm taking the 49ers. Look, this has everything to do with how last week ended for me. When I let the dust settle, I didn't even want to say the word San Francisco 49ers. I was so angry. I was getting so many texts from people, and I wanted to throw my phone through a wall. I was just so angry on Sunday for losing that game.
I know you're a fan. Good watching.
Oh, great watch. It was an electric finish.
Yeah.
Electric finish. But the same problems that come back to bite this team every year in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl is their defense melts down late, and it's never getting fixed. And as another defensive coordinator that's just, lost out there calling plays, and just like so many things went wrong in that game. And Ronnie Bell, to message to Ronnie Bell, the wide receiver for the 49ers, who probably none of you know because he shouldn't be on the field, but due to injuries, he's playing. Had a chance. Purdy made an unbelievable play in the pocket last week, throws down about a 30-yard pass. He jumps in. Didn't even need to jump, but jumped. Why not? And hits his hands and drops it. And then at that point, I said, they're going to lose this game. They're somehow going to lose this game.
Just that
Didn't
kind of feel,
missed a field goal. Here we go. Doors open. Punt return down to the 40. 2 plays later, Rams first and goal. The story is what it is. So all that happens. Genuinely believe it was the worst loss of the Kyle Shanahan era. When I say that, I'm being serious.
So bounce back and steamroll Pats.
Bounce back, steamroll.
Even with the offensive injuries.
Good time to call this out. NFL underdogs of 5.5 points. 14-2 this season. 10 of them winning outright. 49ers, one of those teams last week, closed 6.5, lost outright to the Rams. 5-0 last week for the Dogs, outright winning. If they're 5.5 or more.
How does that relate to this?
Yeah, just telling you that I'm still confident the 49ers are going to steamroll this team.
I mean, you're giving me an underdog stat.
No Debo. Kittle's probably unlikely. He's trying to practice. We'll see what happens on him.
Purdy's got a sore back,
CMC.
right?
Yeah, sore
He's
back.
Play, but...
No big deal. Little Ben Gay on that. Little icy hot. He'll be fine. The good news as a Niners fan, this is part of the game here. The notes that I have in my handicap is that was Purdy's first game without multiple studs playing beside him. They lost Trent Williams last year and Debo, but not having McCaffrey, not having Debo, not having Kittle, and he still went out there.
You still have Ayuk.
And he was awesome. He was not. Yeah, but Ayuk. The other thing with Ayuk is he is not on the same page with Ayuk right now.
Gee,
the holdout, which we knew was coming.
Yeah, I wonder why that was. Yeah.
So but Juwan Jennings, all of a sudden, he makes him look like Randy Moss out there, and Jennings was awesome. It wasn't just Purdy there. That was But Jennings is an undervalued receiver. He's fine.
Is he going into a free agent year? Because he
just signed a
contract.
2-year, $15 million deal in the offseason with the Niners.
I was that was a big contract game for him.
Yeah,
if that was the case.
He put a name. He made a name for himself.
Sure,
I mean, he has been their third down guy for years, but he is a legitimate weapon. That's just another late round pick that they hit on. Jordan Mason. Think about what the Jets did to this team on Thursday night. Okay, and the Niners completely did that to the Jets. So, when I know it's a different week, different game, but Niners get to go back home. They're all pissed off. They know they blew that game. They're a veteran team. Get your heads on straight. The problem with the Niners right now is their defense. We said this. They have a big problem stopping the run.
They do.
And that's what the Patriots want to do. The problem is the Patriots have zero threat of throwing the ball. And, you can hone in and you can make Ramondre Stevenson try to beat 8 guys in a box, and I think we'll take one-on-one coverage with Jalen Polk.
Honestly,
I'm not worried about that in this case.
I mean, that was some of the dumbest play calling you'll ever see from the Patriots game last week with the Jets. They know we're going to come out and run the ball. The Jets' defense is vulnerable against the run.
Yep.
What do they do in the first play of the game? Throw.
Yeah.
I'm the game's over.
Yeah.
You lost the game.
It's just...
The game is done. You're down 7-0. You come out throwing.
And Brissett's going to just get killed back there at this
I
point.
fear for his life. I mean,
quite
honestly.
He deserves a lot more money than he's making. I'll just tell you that much.
To sit there
and take the hits.
He's taking, yeah.
So
tough son of a bitch.
Guys like Drake may come in. You're cool to see as a fan, I'm sure. But guess what? Third play of the game, he gets absolutely crushed. And now you're get him out of there, right? You don't want him playing with this team. And the Pats' offensive line against Nick Bosa, Leonard Floyd, Fred Warner coming through. Good luck. They still have guys. As hurt as the Niners are, their depth is still there. They still have plenty of guys. This game, I genuinely believe, I'm not saying this because I'm a Niners fan and I genuinely don't like the Patriots. This game's 31-3, 31-10, and unless it's garbage time and it gets closer than that, I'll be genuinely pissed if they don't beat this team by 21 points.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with you there. I would lean heavily into this direction. It would not shock me if this moved to 11 and a half by Sunday.
And that's what I make the game, 11 and a half.
Yeah, there you go. My fourth and final leg before our best bets. Give me the Falcons minus 1.5 here. Big matchup for the Falcons' second consecutive home game here, coming off a tough loss against the Chiefs, as we all saw on Sunday Night Football. Saints come into town. And I think the Saints are kind of emerged from this as what we thought they could have been at the end of 4 games is a 2-2 football team. I think that's what we're looking at here. Mm-hmm. Saints on top of that, they have a big Monday Night Football match in I think that's in Arrowhead in Week 5. I know that the Falcons do have Thursday Night Football with the Bucs coming up, but I don't really put a ton of stock into that because again they're going to be home. Mm-hmm. for that one. That's 3 straight home games for the Falcons.
Yeah.
Gotta love that. And I think they're due. I mean, -1.5 versus this Saints team. Yeah, absolutely. Give me it. Nice and easy.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at what the Saints allowed with Saquon Barkley last week. I think we could see a big explosion game out of Bijan Robinson this week.
Yeah, one thing I think Philly put on tape is that you contain Alvin Kamara. You make Alvin Kamara run inside.
Yeah, they did contain him. Yep.
And it's all about the edge rushers getting on the outside, making him run inside. You make
Yeah.
Kamara run inside, he's not built for that long term. So they slowed him down completely by doing that. There's a blueprint there. Now, Derek Carr, go show us how good you are.
On the road.
Right, exactly. In a division game, short number. Not a play for me because I know both teams have some injuries on the offensive line that I don't know. Like, there was a big injury for the Falcons in that Chiefs game where they just couldn't run the ball anymore. They were just running with success early,
Yeah.
and then they struggled late. I think it changed the play calling, so I need a little bit more info there. But I do say, excuse me, Atlanta, I do lean that way with you. I think that's the right side.
All right, your fourth and final like before our best.
One last thing. Saints at Chiefs Monday Night Football next week. That'll be a nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it. All right. Anyway.
That's why they're going to be all jacked up, right?
Yeah.
A little distraction.
Speaking of Monday night, let's have a Monday night like, huh?
All right. What do you
right.
got?
All right. Let me clear my
Oh,
throat. Let me hit
another
this button.
double deuce. Double deuce on
Yes.
Monday night.
Double deuce. How'd you like the product on Monday?
Loved it.
Loved it.
Besides the shit Jags,
People-
but yeah.
Oh, God, the Jags.
It got to the point where, like, okay, I can't watch this anymore.
I bet a touchdown by Strange, the tight end for the Jags.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
It did. He
Did
scored.
he score?
Scored their TD, and I was texting my buddy Adam, who was just
What
like,
were the odds
I
on that?
actually hate you. It was
When did he
plus
score? It must have
300.
been late.
Plus 300. It was second half, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was second
Yeah,
half. Plus 300, but he was playing his starting tight end for Ingram, who was out. Anyways, we'll get to the Jags later. But this Monday, let's go to the game of the year so far. Tennessee at Miami.
Game of the year, huh?
Just two bottom feeders that everyone's dying to bet here. Everyone,
Okay. Continue, but I don't know where you're seeing this line.
What do you mean?
Go ahead.
This line is flip-flopping like crazy, actually.
Okay.
And has been all week.
Okay.
So there are some spots where Tennessee is favored by 1 point. There are other spots where the Dolphins are dogs by 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 1.5 on the card. I'm going to play this neutral, okay? So because there are limited spots where the Dolphins are, I'm actually going to give this pick out as a Dolphins money line pick because there's plenty of places
Okay.
you can get that at minus
That's
110
fair.
right now
That's
in
fair.
our pick. But the Dolphins are laying dogs in multiple shops.
Because I'm seeing they're favored by 1 here.
Yeah, and then I'll even show you. I'll bring it up right now.
No,
'cause
you
I
don't have to
think
show me.
FanDuel
If
is
there are
one of the
flip-flopping,
ones
that's fine. But if you want to give out the money line pick, that works.
Yeah, I'm doing it anyways because the Dolphins are going to win this game because Will Levis is not very good at playing quarterback in the NFL right now. And I'll tell you, I'm very excited about what the Dolphins could look like on offense. And I think they're going to start Tyler Huntley, and I think that's the right move. So
You think so?
I think he's going to play, and I think it's the right move.
They
We've
just
seen
signed
Huntley.
him.
Yep, but that's okay. Huntley at least can give you a pulse. And even if he doesn't start, I think he plays in this game because if they need him, it's a quick trigger to him, right? All he needs to do is get out there, hand the ball off to A-Chain, throw little short routes to Tyreek Hill, throw the
Jet
ball
sweep.
to Jalen Waddle.
Jet sweep.
The game plan of the Dolphins last week was horrendous, and the quarterback play was horrendous.
I did not watch any of that game.
Okay, it was terrible. So Mike McDaniel needs to own that, and I think he will. He's a better coach than what they put on the field last
This
week.
would be 3 in a row if they dropped this
And
one.
they're just overall too talented to be.
They are.
Even without Tua. This line, what is the line if Tua is healthy? 8? I mean, 7?
7.5.
At home, Monday night.
Yep.
Titans are just railing. 0-3.
Titans
just
did
had
beat them last year
They did.
on
But
prime time.
the difference here is that was a back-breaking loss for the Titans. And they got buried in it. In a game where you needed to come out and show, we need to save our season, they come out and just pissed down their leg. They were terrible in that game. Now, I just like Miami's weapons here to get this done enough to win the game. South Florida, Monday Night Football, humidity. You are right. Tennessee did win that game last year. But I like that for Miami even more. They can't sleep on this game. They can't sleep on this team. They need to stay in this division. They're watching the Bills. They'll be 3-0. They'll obviously know their fate of the Bills game of this week. But, even if the Bills lose, 3-1, leader of that division. You're 1-3. You're already, at the very least, you lose this game. You're 2 games behind at the very least, possibly 3 games behind. So can't lose this one. They are going to get Tua back at some point because he's a moron and he's going to want to come back and play football, and that's going to happen even though he's on the IR right now. He will come back and play. You mark my word there. I think Huntley plays. If he doesn't, I still like Miami to win. There's just too much talent on this team. Will Levis is turning the ball over so much. How can you trust Tennessee in any situation right now, especially on the road? I just think this is a game where Miami needs it. They're desperate. This is like a desperation play from an 0-2 team situation here. This is the desperation play for Miami. They're playing a really shitty Tennessee team. And Tennessee, Tuck, they've been in my bottom 5 rankings all year. I now mark them below the Patriots as the second worst team in football right now. So because of that, I make this game Miami -4. So that number is probably a little inflated because I'm probably a little bit higher than the market. I'm definitely higher on Miami still than the market after watching Miami just not be good.
So you got Carolina and Tennessee tied for the 2 worst teams in the league, huh?
Yeah.
See, I might have Carolina above New England at this point.
Well, Andy Dalton made them look good.
Yeah.
We'll see, but I got to see it twice from Andy.
Right. Yeah.
But I did mark them up a point. They came up a point for the Andy Dalton win.
Well, let's all right, well, let's get to let's just go right to that game with the rest here. Panthers home versus the Bengals. 4.5-point home dogs here. Total on this one is 48 now. I saw this earlier, it was 48.5, so that's coming down a little bit here. Really wanted to take the Panthers on this one, but I think that desperation makes the Bengals victorious by a touchdown on this one, ultimately. But would not shock me if the Panthers covered this one with Andy Dalton looking like a functioning offense now and going up against his old team as well.
Yeah, I'm staying away. I lost so much money live on Cincinnati. So last week I gave out a tease.
I hit them live too, yeah.
Cincinnati and the teaser just needed a -1.5. Then they went down early. I got them at a money line price of 120. I got them -1.5 again, and just kept hammering Cincinnati and just fully expected that game to just eventually get one stop from that defense, which they couldn't do. So what happens? Well, in the end, Ellen DeGeneres, look-alike Joe Burrow, is now 0-3. Get rid of the hair, dude. Stop. Come back to your own self.
Why don't you wear a jumpsuit?
I know it wasn't his fault. I mean, he couldn't have played better last week, I don't think. But, like, their defense is so bad, and I love what I saw from Carolina. Carolina, early in the year, I did say to you, I thought they could potentially be a playoff team. Maybe was wrong. But the flip side, one game, Andy Dalton, that game, he comes back. That gives them life. But that team was fired up to play that game. They finally had a quarterback they trusted. They have no confidence in Bryce Young at this point. So if seeing Dalton back there gave them that level of a spark, now he gets to play against his former team, as you say, complete stay away from me.
Now I'm just picturing Joe Burrow approaching the huddle and dancing like Ellen.
Oh God, dude, it's embarrassing. Like, get the hair color back, dude.
Yeah, I don't
bad omen.
I don't get the bleach job.
God,
I don't know what you're thinking there. Eagles and Bucks. Bucks home dogs here, 2.5. Point total on this one is 44. Eagles getting very banged up here. I don't know what the status of Devonta Smith is going to be after that brutal unpenalized hit. Mm-hmm. I doubt he plays after that hit, but who knows? Who the hell knows? But I need more information on this game before I even think about touching this one. Even with the Bucs' success versus the Eagles last year in the wild card round.
Strong lean to the Bucs here. Even if Smith plays, and he's got a little ice cream headache, so who knows if he plays? Like you said, A.J. Brown, he might come back, but he's also got a hamstring injury. How effective are you going to be? Like, too many injuries on Philly right now for me to bet this game yet. Later in the week, check in. Maybe I'll make a little Instagram video and tell you what I'm doing in this one, if anything at all. Other thing, Darius Slay, who knows if he's going to play on the defensive side of the ball. He's an elite corner, so, like, that's a big difference letting Mike Evans have somebody else on him all night.
Jags and Texans. Texans coming off a tough loss, or really blowout against the Vikings on the road. And the Jaguars also coming off a horrendous blowout loss on the road in Buffalo, as we all witnessed on Monday Night Football. Texans currently favored by 7 here. Point total on this one is 45.5. Little pat in the back for me.
Yeah.
Is in order, I will say. Monday. ahead of the Bills game, I placed the Texans to cover 4.5.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Hate it.
What?
Hate it.
Damn it.
I hate this
game. Well, come on. The line moved in my favor, though.
Closing value trophies. You know what that gets you?
I had the Texans minus 4.5, and it's at 7 now. That's a good bet.
It's a great bet. It is
Thank
a great.
you.
It's a
that's
great
all.
bet.
I just want a little fucking credit. That's all.
But when the Jags lose by 3, you're gonna really hate yourself and hate that closing line value.
I think it is a lot of points now.
It's getting a little absurd.
This screams like a Texans blowout, and I don't think that's the case considering how Stroud has looked this year.
I want to bet the Jags so bad, but I can't. My finger won't. My finger goes into I literally can't click the submit button.
Very near for me on this one was Jags +7.
They're just
divisional game.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence looks like crap. I understand that, but that Jaguars defense is better than that.
And C.J. Stroud is not good as a favorite. He's just not. He's not.
You got any stats for me?
He's under 500. I don't have them
as
written
a favorite?
down. Yeah,
as
a favorite.
7+ point favorite?
Oh no, just a favorite in general.
Okay.
Think about it. Houston last year was dog. Their value was crazy as an underdog, and they just kept winning outright. Right. I don't have it in front of me, but I want to say it's under 500. But I'll come back next week with that stat for you.
Yeah. Unless you don't.
Unless I don't. The Jags. I don't know how you bet the Jags right now. I know Monday night.
Doug Peterson might be playing for his job.
He should be. At the end of the day,
mid-season.
Trevor Lawrence is 0-8 in his last 8 games. They are not good. He is not good. He's not progressing.
That pick last week was so bad.
I think back in 2 years ago, that team was driving down the field
against
in
the Chargers.
Kansas City. Kansas City. 2 years ago, after they beat the Chargers, after they came back against the Chargers.
That
next
right.
week, they were driving down the field against the Chiefs in Arrowhead to win that game, and a pass, great defensive play to end the game.
I mean, there was chatter there where the Giants were entering the upper echelon in the AFC that year,
and it's gone completely south for that team since. I know he got banged up last year, but when he came back, he didn't win, and now he's 0-3. And he looks worse and worse every week.
And now you got the screen cap floating around of, I don't know, however, I don't know if it was for his career or over a span of games, but it was a side-by-side of stats comparing Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I saved that,
and it was eerily similar.
Yeah, in time for a conversation.
And Daniel Jones just gets blasted all the time, and everybody still thinks that Trevor Lawrence is, although it is coming down, I think people are starting to come around to the fact that he does, in fact, suck, especially after witnessing this year. But he's always been in that, top 10 quarterback conversation.
Generational prospect.
Prospect.
That's what it is. Prospect. At some point, the on-field talent needs to show up, and he's going in the wrong direction. But that said, this line's outrageous.
Yeah.
To your point, you bet it on Monday night, 4.5.
Mm-hmm. Texans.
It's already to 7 in some places.
Yeah, that's bananas.
Crazy. I don't know. I can't get behind that either. It's Jags. It's Jags or nothing for me. And I'll tell you what, if it gets to 7.5 in any way, I'll probably be on the Jags and just hold my nose.
Yeah. Commanders and Cardinals should be a very exciting game with the point total being 50.5. Cardinals are favored by 3 here. Still a lot of unknowns on this one. Surrounding the status of Trey McBride. Commanders coming off of the talk of the town type of win on Monday night, going into Cincinnati and weighing in that fashion with Jaden Daniels. Holy shit, that was awesome.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jaden. Although, on the flip side, he is our Rookie of the Year guy that we both smashed. Yeah. So we'll win it back later.
Side.
We'll look at it. We'll win it back later.
But Jesus, that kid is dynamite right now.
Yeah.
But I just need more information on the injury front with this matchup. I would lean Cardinals, though.
This was going to be my 5th but it all moved across the board to 3.5, and I'm not. I bet it at 3 in
Cardinals?
many spots. Yep, Arizona -3 in many spots. And I would even pay -120 if you can get that out there. I will say this. This would have made my card. This absolutely would have been a play for me. Would have been a coin flip game with the Bears. It's kind of for my last but I will say I love this spot for Arizona. Arizona, I was on the Lions last week, but in the Lions covered that game.
Yeah, but it was tight.
They shut that Lions team down in the second half. Like
Arizona's
made them work for
decent.
it, and Washington's is not, and that's the difference here.
Yeah.
Like Washington can't stop anyone. I mean, they can't. But on the flip side, Washington hasn't punted in 2 games. So like, and that's crazy. Like that, their offense is dialed in. I was on Washington in week 1. They couldn't do anything, against Tampa.
Yeah.
That they were the reason I didn't go 5-0 in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
But like the progression you're seeing from Jaden Daniels from week 1 to week 2, from 2 to 3 is exactly what you want to see. Yeah. If you're a Commanders fan, you have to just love life right now.
Now there is this element or angle, I should say, of Cliff Kingsbury going back to Arizona. Cliff Kingsbury now offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders, as most of us know. So I just don't know what angle that might be. Like, I don't know if it's the angle of, like, Arizona knowing what Cliff is going to give them, or if Cliff is just kind of seeking revenge and wants to run up the score here, which I don't know if he can do versus this Arizona defense. I would lean Cardinals there.
Cardinals, get it at 3, play it. I also like the over. I know it's 50.5. I don't care. Another one that almost made the card that I've played. Yeah. I could see a ton of points getting scored in this. Washington's a dead not over team. All they do is score.
Well, look what happened last week, though, with the Lions and Cards. 20-10, right?
Yeah, but this is more about Washington's defense.
Okay.
And Washington's offense. Like, Washington's going to score. They're going to score points. It's their defense that can't stop, me, you, and 9 other guys.
Yeah, the defense blows.
So I like Arizona at 3. I like the over at any number that it's going to get to. And the other thing I'll just say quickly, short week for Washington, huge Monday Night Football win, still a very young team overall. Like, to go now, you're flying from Cincinnati to Washington late Monday, early Tuesday morning. Now you're flying across the country out to Arizona to play on a short week. The spot's terrible for Washington, so even building momentum, really like Arizona here.
All right, weird line here for the Chiefs and Chargers. Chargers are 8-point home dogs. Point total on this one is 39. I mean, I don't know what the status of Justin Herbert's going to be. I would be surprised if he plays. He seems really, really banged up. So, I mean, this screams to me that Herbert's not going to play.
Yeah.
So, just a lot of grossness that I don't want to be anywhere close to.
Yeah, Chargers on a bye next week. So, there's no reason to play Herbert. I get that it's the Chiefs.
I don't think it matters, yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, I still lean the Chargers here.
Heineke
can keep it close. Knowing he's starting full prep, you got to hand the ball off. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs you say what you want. I know they're 3-0, and everyone's like, here go the Chiefs again.
Their offense is Rashee Rice.
That's it. And and to be honest, they're terrible in the red zone right now. So, what is Harbaugh going to do? They're going to want to run the ball, shorten the game, play good defense, and 8 points is a lot of points. I don't care if it's Herbert or Heineke. I strongly lean the Chargers. This one got to 8.5.
Wow.
It's seeing it in some spots. Even 9s are starting to pop.
I mean, it's not like Kansas City's lighting it up.
At a certain point, I'm going to bet the Chargers. I'm seeing 9s now on the board, even if it's 9 plus 105. That's crazy.
I mean, this is Harbaugh at the end of the day. He's going to come up with a creative game plan.
Yeah, they're not getting blown out. They won't get blown out in this game.
No. Sunday Night Football, Bills and Ravens, easily the game of the week. Ravens favored by 2.5. Point total on this one is 46.5. I would venture to guess that a lot of money is coming in on the Bills right now, right? Plus 2.5.
58% of the tickets, 65% of the money.
Yeah. I'm not convinced. I think they're due to drop one here.
Yeah.
And I think the Ravens, I know that their defense coughed up late, but overall, really dominant win, aside from the garbage time stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think they're just going to continue to pound Derrick Henry. I think they've finally figured out that he's probably the key cog in that offense, aside from Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. I mean, their tight ends are not getting any action whatsoever. And, I mean, Andrews used to be like the go-to guy in that offense, and he's barely getting targeted.
0 last week. I thought he was going to have a big game. That was part of my handicap.
Me too.
0.
Me too. I thought he was due. I traded for him in fantasy in one of my leagues. There's still time, so he might come around. But still, I feel like that you can run on this Bills defense, and I think that the Ravens could probably cover this number, but Bills look damn good, though.
I'm not jumping in front of Josh Allen the way he's playing. He's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Period. And that's what I said. I stand on it. He's playing
he's
like
the
the best
MVP
quarterback.
of the league.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing like the best quarterback of the NFL. I'm saying he's better than Mahomes. He's not better than Mahomes, but he's playing better than Mahomes. And I'm not getting in front of it. I don't care where he's playing at Baltimore. I wanted to bet Baltimore here. If I was going to do anything in this game, it's the over. I really like the over at 46. 46.5. The Baltimore defense, you can throw on them. You can throw on them. And the Bills' offense, their confidence is growing weekly. But,
I mean, the Ravens really haven't faced any great backs, though, so I think this is a pretty decent James Cook game coming up. Right? I don't think they faced anybody big.
Well, they faced Pacheco in week 1. He was on the field.
Yeah, but he got hurt. Right? Didn't he get hurt that game? Or was it the game after?
Next game, right?
Either way, I don't think they faced...
Maybe it was that game.
I don't think they faced a lot of good backs. Right?
Possibly. I think he got hurt in the Bengals game. But either way, you get that. ETN had no chance.
I don't think he's a good back.
They were down 28 before they even blinked.
Yeah.
I think he's good. He's decent. And they played James Conner. James Conner had a nice game against them, actually.
Wait, now,
so
I'm getting all messed up here. Ravens. Who the hell did they play?
Oh, Ravens. Sorry, I was hopping. I was going to the Bills.
Yeah. I was just doing that too. Yeah, it was Pacheco and then Zamir White. Who cares? And then Zeke Elliott and Dowdle last week. So, I mean, the only back that they've really seen is Pacheco.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
So
They're going to have to run the ball.
I think it's a decent James Cook game here.
It could be a decent Josh Allen on the run game. I mean, the guy's doing everything. He sees like a half an inch of an opening, and he's like, I'm going for 15 yards. Good luck.
He's on another level right now.
He's been awesome. So stay away. I just want to watch this game. I know it's Sunday night,
That's
so
the
I'm
other
going to end up
part
betting something. It'll probably be the over.
The second Monday Night Football game, very close for a like for me, was Seahawks on the road in Detroit. Detroit favored by 4 here. Point total on this one is also 46.5.
Are you seeing a 4?
Yes, I am seeing a 4.
Well, I'm going to have to hit that. I might hit that. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
Who?
Seattle.
I was thinking Seattle, too. Leaning Seattle here.
Yeah,
I think this is a measuring stick game for the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is surprising a lot of people. They have a defensive-oriented coach. Lions and Jared Goff are struggling on offense right now, I'd say. I feel like they should be putting up a lot more points than they have been. My only hesitation on this one is that Detroit, and you could probably back me up on this one, they tend to slay on primetime television, right?
Yeah, they do. Dan Campbell tends to step it up unless it's a playoff game and he won't kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
So why would you lean Seahawks here? Because I'm right in that same camp.
There it is. Yeah, I'm seeing it now on my phone. It certainly is a 4 has popped back at DraftKings. Wonderful. And other places.
70% is on the Lions.
Yeah, that's nice. I like the Seahawks here at 4. That's the value for me. The Seahawks beat this team last year in week 2 outright in Detroit in OT. And I just look. I was on Detroit last week. I don't love the way Jared Goff's playing right now.
No.
The Seahawks defense has been one of the better units in the league. Now they are ranked and statistically at the top of the pass defense, but let's also pump the brakes here with Seattle a little bit, even though I'm leaning this way. They've played Jacoby Brissett. They've played Skylar Thompson.
Yeah.
They've played, and whoever they played in the middle wasn't a good quarterback either.
No, they really have.
Oh, damn, Bo Nix. Bo Nix, first game of the year.
Right.
So, they've had a pretty easy schedule so far against offenses. So this is a whole nother test, which I am interested to see.
Yeah.
But 4 points feels like a lot for a team that, look, the Lions are not clicking on all cylinders.
And they just lost their all-pro center.
Yes, they just lost their center. And, the one part of this is, for Seattle, they're middle of the road stopping the run. You saw the Lions get the run game going because Dan Campbell listened to the podcast last week and listened to what I told him to do, and he did it. So he ran. That was nice. Now, that's where they got to continue to go. Do I trust that Dan Campbell's going to do that? No. Do the Lions going to have the best uniforms in the league on Sunday night with their black uniforms they're wearing? Yes. So that's a half-point value for the Lions. So not making the card. But 4?
Interesting. Sounds like a 6th like for you.
Might hit this. No, my 6th like is Arizona. Arizona.
7th like.
7th like, yeah.
I thought you hated this card.
Yeah, I do. Doesn't mean
You're like, I got 12 likes.
Doesn't mean that I'm a
Hate this
smasher.
guy.
This is my problem. On the show, I'm doing excellent. In real life,
Yeah.
I'm still working a full-time job.
All right, I think that covered the rest, so let's go ahead to the best, shall we? I'll start because I blow. Give me the Pats and Niners under 39.5 here, and this is my philosophy. I played the under last week with the Jets and Patriots at 38.5. Another solid defense that the Pats are going up against, and I don't anticipate a lot of points at all from this Patriots team. I don't care if they get back Vidarian Lowe. I don't care if they get back City So there for the offensive line where they were missing.
City So's back?
It doesn't fucking matter, dude.
Shit.
It doesn't matter.
I got to re-handicap.
Jesus Christ. This team is a fucking mess, and it's a disaster. So now you're adding one more point to this total, 39.5. What?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, the only...
But look at it from the Jets and Niners offense, too. I mean, the Niners offense, if everybody's healthy, they're going to smoke the Jets with that offense. But they're banged up offense right now. Your quarterback's a little banged up. You got no Debo, no CMC. Ayuk is still in holdout mode. Kittle is banged up. He's probably not going to play, you said, right?
I don't know.
Still up in the air.
Early.
Either way.
They go back to practice today.
I doubt that they play him. Who do the Niners have on deck, by the way? I forget. You should know this.
I should know this, but I've been circling this game.
Either way,
I do know this.
This all just boils down to the Patriots and their lack of or non-existent offense. The offense is there are bodies out there. They just don't know how to play football.
Yeah.
Or the play caller doesn't know how to call the plays. At least from what I saw from the Jets. Everything started out great because they had weeks to prepare for the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Bengals are still, coming off their preseason lull and the contract issues there with Jamar Chase and go down the list. Weird feels from the Bengals in week one, so they won that, and then they lost in overtime versus the Seahawks. They should have won that. Complete choke job. And then the true Patriots came out, I truly believe, versus the Jets on Thursday Night Football last week. This is what the Patriots are. They cannot defend against any defense, let alone a defense like the Niners have. It's just under. Always under with this team. 39.5 best bet.
Yeah, I like your play. I really do. I like the play.
And with the Niners, I support your like of 10, but they're just going to take the foot off the gas pedal later in the game and just grind out the clock with whoever their backup running back is, probably because they want to preserve Brock Purdy and not get him hurt or keep their offense healthy.
Yeah, that's the play right there. I like this one a lot, actually. A lot of reasons to like it. They do play the Cardinals next week.
Yeah, another big game, big matchup.
They
look at their schedule coming up.
Back for that.
Cardinals, Seahawks, Chiefs, Cowboys.
Yeah,
tough slate for the Niners here.
Which is also why I like the Niners.
So this is like take care of business, smoke them by double digits, but make sure everybody's healthy.
Yeah,
make sure everybody's healthy.
That's the most important thing. Win this game. Laying 10's a little dangerous here, but that's all right. We're still going to do it.
All right, so that is my best bet. Matt, what is your best bet? Because I'm seeing it's a team that you backed in week one and were victorious with.
It is. I'm going back to the well. Give me the Colts +2. Best bet here. Look, great matchup for Indianapolis. Yes, Pittsburgh's 3-0. They're 3-0 against the spread. Everyone loves Pittsburgh now all of a sudden. Justin Fields is a great quarterback. Yes, the wheels
undefeated.
Were so
Yay.
good. Indy stinks. Anthony Richardson stinks, is what I've said all Sunday. Yeah, last Sunday. I was ready to... Another Sunday with Anthony Richardson ruining my fantasy football team and also trying to ruin my bets. But somehow, some way, still did what they should have done and run the ball and win the game. Pittsburgh coming off a game where they got a banged-up Herbert, and they were tied 10-10 late in that third quarter, 13-10 when he got taken off the field, right? And then he hits a lucky long touchdown pass. I say lucky because in the NFL, you usually don't have a guy streaming 15 yards open and just continuing to the end zone. So that's where I'm saying lucky. But nice pass anyways. Fields is playing really nice for that team. Don't want to take that away from him. The key to this game is Anthony Richardson, his inconsistent play. Why do we want to bet him? Indy's great offensive line is why we want to bet Indianapolis. Right here, that matchup is so key. The Pittsburgh's winning games with their front seven. They are just destroying people. They look like the best defense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ignoring that. I'm not ignoring that in the way Anthony Richardson's looked, his inconsistencies, his turnovers. I get it. But their offensive line is something they have to lean on in this game, and they will. Shane Steichen's a good coach. I trust that he's going to win this game for them outright. They're going to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. They got him going against Chicago. Like we said, run the ball against the Bears. You'll be fine. You have the best offensive line or one of the better offensive lines in football. Use it. Get Anthony Richardson on the move. Easy, short passes instead of just having him chuck the ball down the field. These deep ends, these corner routes that they're running. Get him in the flow of the game before you start calling those plays. Quick passes, run the ball, set up the long pass. That's how you're going to beat Pittsburgh. That's the way you attack this defense.
Sounds like you're talking money line here.
I'm talking money line. Indy's winning this game. Indy's averaging 6.3 yards per play, third in football, Tuck. They hit on big plays. That's the story. So if you can establish the run, you can then allow those defense to safeties to come up a little bit. They're going to play supporting in the run game. That's when you take advantage. You hit them over the top, and that is actually where Anthony Richardson's been okay, is throwing the ball deep so far. It's these intermediate routes where he's just been all over the place. So run the ball, take your shots from there. The Steelers at the end of the day here, they can't score touchdowns. Like, Justin Fields has been better, like we said earlier, 2 touchdowns last week, 1 on the ground, 1 in the air. That gives them a total of 3 on the season.
Right.
They have 3 touchdowns. All right? So, I'm sorry.
It's been all about coaching and defense so far.
They have not played.
I know that Fields looks decent, but still.
They haven't played world beaters either. They played Atlanta, Kirk Cousins' first game off the Achilles tear where they were giving away what they were doing every play.
Just shotgun every play.
And they didn't score a touchdown. Then they played at Denver, 1 touchdown. They played against the Chargers, 2 touchdowns. So, sure, 0-1-2. Does the trend go to 3? No. The Colts, on the other hand, come in 1-2, but they play Green Bay and Houston. They've been battle-tested. Chicago, good defense at least. Sure, they got some turnovers. They did what they needed to do on defense for once, so that was nice. Finally, Pittsburgh playing their 3rd road game in 4 weeks. Indy's playing their 3rd home game in 4 weeks. So not a lot of travel. Rest advantage for Indy, not being in the air so much, flying all around. I make them at 1-point favorites in this game. I think the Colts win this game outright. So +2, easy number for me to take. Give me the Colts. +2 for my best bet.
Now, is there any hesitancy based off of your Broncos pick from 2 weeks ago?
No.
Going up against the Steelers team?
No, play numbers, not teams.
Okay.
And figure out
I'm just
the
pointing out the
handicap
team.
after, right? Like the team is the
You're
team.
fading the Steelers again.
Fading the Steelers again.
Okay.
Fading the Steelers.
I'm just pointing it out. I'm
Yeah.
just here to point that out.
It's all right.
Hey, listen, I'll take it.
Steelers are going to
I'll bet that. You
If the
shit me?
Steelers win, they're going to be this year's early bid
Undefeated.
to beat Tampa Bay for me last year when I couldn't hit betting against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
What's
That's what's going to happen.
That's what it's going to be. But I'm kind of right there with you. I like that one. I like that. All right, so let's recap real quick. Our likes, Jets -7, 7.5 for me, wherever you can get it. Aaron Jones, anytime touchdown, +125 on that one, plus money. Raiders, Browns under 37. Falcons -1.5. Best bet for me, Pats, Niners under 39.5. Matt's likes, Green Bay -2.5. Chicago -2.5. San Francisco -10, probably -100 versus the shitbag Patriots. And Miami Dolphins money line for his 4th like. And the best bet, as we just discussed, Indy +2. Maybe a little money line sprinkle for you out there.
Yeah, a little sprinkle.
Well, that's going to do it for us. The bye weeks kick off next week, correct? Yes, as you mentioned, Chargers are one of those teams, and I don't know who else, but we'll worry about that next week. Thank you for tuning in. Again, follow us on socials, @BetterInLaws. Leave us a review on the podcast or on YouTube even. This is now on YouTube. We're back to being on YouTube for this week at least.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Leave a comment, subscribe, do all that. Anything that'll help us, we appreciate you because we help you. At least Matt does.
I'll tell you this. Before we go,
Okay.
the only week we've been on YouTube was week 2 when I faded the Steelers in my best bet. So don't love that omen. If we lose YouTube, I'm not fading the Steelers on YouTube anymore.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Enjoy week 4, and we'll talk to you guys again next week. Bye-bye.
See you.